Hey YouTube, it's DPal3543. In the last part of this video, I'm sorry for cutting out. I didn't time it properly. Also, I have another one of my other accounts opened up on Dueling Network. So if you want to duel me, or uh, maybe if I start recording on this account, if you want to be in one of my videos, just look for P Damien59, and that will be me. Anyway, back to looking at the rest of this deck here. The next card is Wolf. This one isn't in as good condition as my other one, but he's pretty useful. I usually, obviously, as a common Lightsworn user, I know to use Foolish Burial to get him in the grave, so I can immediately special summon him. Charge of the Light Brigade. I usually use this in chain with Foolish Burial, because once you do that and you special summon him, you could use this to get Minerva and immediately have Michael on the field. That's always good. Solar Recharge. This is a card I specifically save for when I'm in a tight spot. I don't have a good Lightsworn. I usually use this if I have Wolf in my hand, because you can't normal summon him, or a Shire, because usually when I have Shire in my hand, I don't have enough Lightsworns in the graveyard for her to be effective enough to get anywhere with that. Scrap Iron Scarecrow. This is always pretty useful. You can negate at least one attack, obviously. Flip it. Like, hey, I play this. Damage step over. Back down, face down. Wait for next turn. Do it again. Glorious Illusion. I try to use this if I have a Michael in the graveyard, but sometimes I don't, so I just use it for other Lightsworns that I might need later on. Penguin Knight. I mean, I know this isn't necessarily a good card to have in your deck, but how I build my decks. I build them around how my friends play, what cards they use. Specifically, my friend Lannon. He doesn't get on Dueling Network much anymore, but his screen name is Lannon13. But yeah, I have that because he's got this one trap card that switches your deck and your graveyard. So if he does that, then Penguin Knight here, if he's in my deck when he does that, his effect will activate because he was being sent to the graveyard by an opponent's effect, which will allow me to take all that and shuffle all my cards, just regain my entire deck except for what's in my hand and on the field. And there we go. I'm set for another several turns if I'm lucky. Next is Light Ray Diablos. You have to have at least 5 light monsters with different 5 or more light monsters with different names in your graveyard to special summon him. I like him. If Honest is already in my graveyard, I usually just banish that, or I'll have this guy in there, Photon Thrasher, or Photon Cerberus in there, because you really don't need them that much, and especially this guy's pretty useful if you have other monsters on the field anyway. I mean, he can be. Well, he can't be normal summon. He can only be a special summon if you don't have monsters. So he's a good card to start out with, but not something you want to have throughout your entire duel, because he's just a sitting duck then, and it's a good way for you to take a lot of damage. Next is Poison the Old Man. I rarely ever use the second F. I use the first one quite often to gain 1,200 life points, because obviously JD's and Michael's effects cost 1,000 life points to activate and use. So, yeah. Stolen Purity and Light. This can come in handy if people knew what it does. This, during my opponent's turn, all their monsters lose 300 attack for their battle phase only. And so that comes in handy occasionally. Starlight Road. I'm sure all you Yu-Gi-Oh fans know what this does. You activate it to chain into a card that will destroy 2 or more of your monsters, and then negate that card, and then special summon a Stardust. That's the only reason why I have Stardust in here in the first place, because I got that card, and my Stardust used to be in a dragon deck I used to have, and I'm just thinking this could come in handy. So I was like, I'm just moving that over. There we go. It was a shared extra deck for a while, but then I traded off my dragon deck for this much better not spellcaster, Noble Knights deck. Here's that Foolish Burial. Everybody knows what that does. Here's Photon Cerberus. During the turn that it was successfully normal summoned, as long as it stays on the field for that turn, nobody can activate trap cards. Lightsworn Sanctuary. This has gotten me out of a few jams as well. Just like Realm of Light, every time a card is sent from the deck to the graveyard, this gains a counter. Except, unlike Realm of Light, this can save any Lightsworn card I have on the field from being destroyed, including itself. Also, I can use this to discard one Lightsworn to add another one to my hand. Here's Minerva. She's pretty good. I usually try to not normal summon her until I have quite a few Lightsworns already in my graveyard. That way I could add Dragonith to my hand, or maybe Judgment Dragon. I probably could add some more dragons into this deck, maybe. Then she might be a little more effective, but I have the feeling I wouldn't get very far with that one. Or Alexandrite. Here's Lumina. Everybody should know what she does. Discard one Lightsworn to special summon another. Roll 3 during the end of your turn. She's a very weak monster, and I usually use Honest when someone attacks her because she needs that defense. She's also pretty useful. I mostly only summon her if there's a really powerful card that I need in my graveyard, specifically a powerful level 4 Lightsworn like Wolf or Raiden or Jade. But yeah. And Shire, the little bugger, gains 300 attack for every Lightsworn with a different name in the graveyard. She's not something you want to get out like right away unless you put her in defense position. I mean, you could take your chance at trying to mill her, but summon her in attack position to mill, but that won't get you very far because there's no guarantee you will mill Lightsworn. Also, you only mill 2 cards, so there's like a split through 60 into 3, and there's your chance of getting a Lightsworn in there because you have monsters, spells, and traps you could possibly mill. So, yeah, you never know. Magic Jammer. This kind of works really well for Fabled Cerberial. All you have activate this, discard that, negate that spell card, special summon him. Hopefully in defense position. I mean, his 1,000 attack, depending on what your opponent has on the field, it might be better to have him in defense position, but I like to put him in attack occasionally because usually my opponent's fields are empty, so that would give me the opening to just attack. Lightsworn Barrier. That you just mill 2 cards when someone attacks Lightsworn. Raiden, mill 2 during your main phase, and if you mill a Lightsworn, he gains 200 attack until the end of your opponent's next turn, and then mill 2 at the end of the phase. I'll have to skip through here, running out of time. Genis, inflict 500 points of damage every time a card is sent to your. Every time a card or multiple cards are sent to the graveyard by effect of a Lightsworn. And yes, it counts for multiple Lightsworns. So if you mill for multiple Lightsworns, you inflict multiple 500 points of damage to your opponent. Let's see. Light Ray Daedalus has the similar summoning conditions to as Diablos, different effect. Vanquishing Light, tribute 1 Lightsworn to negate the tribute summon, the summoning of a monster. I usually don't use that. Jane, Constellar Belt, can't negate activation of spell of light monsters effects. Trap Hole, that's a pretty common card. I know, 30 seconds. Everything else is pretty much the same. I got Solar Ray, Photon Lead, and everything else is, in the calculator. But yeah, if you guys liked my video, please slap the like button and subscribe to my channel for some more awesome videos. And remember, if you'd ever like to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Against me, just let me know down in the comments below, or find P. Damien. 59. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.